Zakaria from School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Group 2. Today, I would like to share with all of you about addressing discrimination and inequality in Malaysia. We may have all come on different ships, but we are in the same boat now. It's said by Martin Luther King Jr. Indeed, Malaysia is a country marked by the rich diversity of its people, along with the wonderful possibilities. This offers the challenge of ensuring that no group or individual is discriminated against or disadvantaged by their personal characteristics in society. Equality or non-discrimination is a state where equal opportunities and rights are obtained by every citizen. However, a general observation that there is a lot of injustice and inequality in Malaysia. The goal of this presentation is to illustrate discrimination and inequality in Malaysia, to make recommendations to combat discrimination, and to promote equality as a basic human right. There are three main points which are discusses the principal patterns of discrimination and inequality in Malaysia, impact and challenges suffered by HIV/AIDS persons, and recommendations drawn from an analysis of both the patterns of discrimination and inequality. First of all, gender inequalities are one of the patterns that can be seen in Malaysia. According to the Gender Gap Index GGI 2011, which calculates the gender gap in terms of education, health, economic, and political participation, this ranks Malaysia 97 out of 135 countries. For example, the lack of job opportunities for women, despite the high level of education reached by girls and women. On top of that, discrimination against marginalized women in the field of healthcare. Members of rural indigenous populations and low-income groups have less access than other women to healthcare. It was recorded that out of 42 women who died in childbirth, 25 were women from orang asli. Next, I am going to cover the impact and challenges suffered by persons living with HIV/AIDS. Statistics issued by the Ministry of Health Malaysia show that current total number of cases of HIV is 91,362. In Malaysia, people living with HIV/AIDS have faced widespread discrimination, often at the hands of healthcare workers and at work. The consequences of this were serious. For example, the employer finds his employee HIV positive. After conducts medical tests, they will be asked to submit resignation letter. Evidence shows that the effects of the HIV/AIDS epidemic in Malaysia, aggravated by discriminatory attitudes and actions taken against people living with HIV/AIDS, which prevent access to effective treatment, loss of employment, and causes economic and social isolation. Finally, I recommend that the government of Malaysia strengthen the protection against discrimination and the entire legal and policy structure relating to equality in Malaysia, and enable Malaysia to fulfill its obligation to uphold, protect, and fulfill the right to non-discrimination and equality under international law. For example, enforcement by Malaysia government to ensure that the right to claim civil damages and effective settlement is granted to persons who have been victims of discrimination. They must have reliable access to judicial and administrative processes, and for that matter, sufficient legal assistance. In conclusion, much of the population in Malaysia is influenced by significant trends of deprivation and discrimination, which are determined by characteristics such as indigenous status, gender, and health status. Discrimination against people living with HIV/AIDS has not been effective. Policies related to women, occupational HIV/AIDS, and social policy include national policies concerning discrimination and inequality. But even in written legislation, Malaysia has a comparatively poor record of fair rights of implementation and compliance, including with regard to access to justice, system of administration, legal assistance, solutions, and constraints. All people must have access to the law and policies implemented to give effect to the right to equality. Malaysia must have take measures to ensure that all such laws and policies are brought to the attention of all those involved through all necessary means. That's all from me. Thank you.